on it. So I've been working on the motor. You see from the last video that I basically got the motor here down in Florida, and I was able to do that by putting it into the back of the FK7, which was fun.
Hey, you can get you off of my mind. Are you still thinking about me all the time? Come through and ask me out tonight. Call me, I'm waiting on the other line. I've been hurt before, lied and cheated on. Don't want this anymore. Now I just want you all night long.
So something popped up on Marketplace that I've wanted since I got it. A Type R cluster. That'll work great with this thing. So we're gonna throw this thing in. So it's pretty simple. You remove 2 screws up here, pull this out, and then we've got a screw over here, and then one facing up. I'm pretty sure this is a 98-99 spec gauge cluster, because if you look here in between the check engine light and the oil light, there's no catalytic converter light that sits in between them. This is a 99 car. 01s, I believe, have the key immobilizer down here. I'm not 100% sure. This car is an LS and it has a GSR cluster in it. However, I think the mileage is from the original car because it matches the VIN check. That's kind of crazy. I didn't believe the original owner when they told me that this car only had about 88,000 miles on it, or 89,000 miles. I was like, okay. And not that I wanted to just disbelieve him, but people change clusters all the time, and the fact that it's a GSR cluster just said, okay, you know, I don't really believe that. But once I did a VIN check, I did check that this chassis only has about 90,000 miles on it, which does reflect the rest of the interior. So this thing is pretty clean. So I'm gonna try to pull this thing out here. Just roll it forward. Now the other thing about this car is this car used to be automatic. So this tachometer has been swapped out. I don't know, it looks like as if this is the original cluster, but I could be wrong. Just maybe the tach was swapped out, because you can lift the faces in and out of the gauge clusters and swap them. And you can see here, all the bulbs are missing, as if they got rid of the automatic section of the gauge cluster, which is something that people do, and because it keeps the mileage consistent. And the 99s have the black face. One of the things I've actually thought about doing with this is actually swapping the face plates with the faux carbon fiber here with the black face plate, only because I don't really have any faux carbon fiber like the Type Rs have. So that's one of the options that I may do. I don't know if I'm going to do that right now, but it's not very hard if that's something that you would want to do. Like, say if you get a hold of one of these faux carbon fiber things, before you take it off, you have to know that there's actually 3 screws that are countersunk. 1, 2, and 3 to get that face bezel off. Simple fit and finish. But there's just something so right about an ITR gauge cluster and an Integra. I love the yellow needles, and obviously the 10,000 RPM tech, especially because we're going to be using a K20. The thing about the Type R gauge clusters, whether it's a Integra Type R or CTR cluster, the tachometers are far more accurate than the regular LS gauge cluster or Civic gauge clusters. Those are notoriously sort of not quite as, I guess, sharp. Factory tachometers are always usually off by a couple of hundred RPM anyway, but the Type Rs are a little more accurate. Does anybody really care? Anybody? No? I don't really care. But as it sits in here, you know, you see the faux carbon fiber, and it's like, it's almost a little out of place in here, if that makes sense. Yeah, I don't know if I want to keep the carbon fiber thing in here, but then again, why not? These just look so clean, and it matches all the other you know, trim pieces in here. I mean, I would like to have carbon pieces maybe later on down the line. So with it all tucked in and tucked away in there, it looks pretty good from my perspective. That the faux carbon fiber almost has like a blue hue to it, a blue look to it. Bam, Type R cluster. I think I'm blocking the audio, but here we are at the junkyard and we found a Del Sol that has been, well, let's take a look at it. I mean, look at that. That's some action right there. This poor guy just whoosh. Anyway, so I found an Accord. I need the map sensor and possibly the throttle body, but I don't know if I'm going to get that today. But I'm going to go ahead and start pulling this stuff off. Got an EF that is painted weird. Smashed. Nice fuel pearl. Civic DX destroyed. Sprawled out of here. Okay, so I just got back in the car. It started raining pretty hard. Got a pretty decent K-Series valve cover, which wasn't too bad. They were kind of rushing me out of there because they are closing, and I sort of feel bad. So I ended up only paying $12.86 for a K-Series valve cover, so not bad. Awesome. All right, so today is the day we're gonna try to get things buttoned up, finished up, because I've got a bunch of stuff coming on Monday, Sunday or Monday, as far as packages and parts to finally get the swap or the engine and trans all completely put together, and then we can finally start getting this thing in the car. Now my plan is to just go ahead and send it with the bay, and you know, if later, if possible, I take the car somewhere else, pull the engine out, and redo the bay. It doesn't look that horrible. It looks pretty good, but we're just gonna send it today. I'm gonna get all this stuff covered up, taped up, and I'm gonna do the firewall end of the car, but also I'm gonna be doing the valve cover I picked up. So this is the valve cover I picked up yesterday. It's all cleaned up, brake cleaned, scuffed up. So what we're gonna do is spray it with some engine primer. We're gonna paint this thing a pretty color today. Hopefully it'll work out. It's supposed to be warm today and sunny, so I'm gonna take advantage of that. Yeah, so the color is gonna be a little bit different, so hence the reason why I got a spare valve cover to do this too. For the largest selection of spray paint and colors, so let's check out what they got. So they go with super gloss white or a dark teal. I can't decide if I want gloss or flat. So the color that I picked, this should look good. It looks blue on camera. It's like super teal. finally sprayed. I just said send it, and I've got everything done and sprayed. It's a nice, beautiful day outside, and I can't really spend any more time on the bay. Just gonna send it for right now. I'm not really worried about any imperfections. Gonna use this for now as a base, I guess. But it is finally all sprayed. And then I've got the other valve cover sprayed here. It's kind of still drying. You could touch it, but you know, it's not dry. I painted this thing to match, but now I'm not so sure. I think it might look better silver, honestly. Okay guys, as we're wrapping this video up, I'm sure you could tell that the valve cover is sort of a little weird, and it was not the color that I intended it to be. The color I intended it to be was supposed to be much darker, and for some reason it comes out almost baby blue on camera, but it's supposed to be like a dark teal, and it just doesn't look that way on camera. But besides that, it is going to be redone. It looks pretty cool for now. I mean, I'm not really worried about that. I am just so worried and pumped about getting this engine in the car and getting this Integra back on the road again. That is my main focus for now. So I've got the engine bay done, all the parts coming together. Should have everything by this weekend or Monday. Should be another video out this Monday. You guys have a great weekend. I'll see you on Monday. Peace out and keep living your dreams.